And as the son of an immigrant who came to this country without a nickel in his pocket, I very much appreciate what you have said. It's the story of millions of Americans. I want you to continue your opening statement in terms of giving us your sense of what your major accomplishments have been, what you're proud of in terms of the work you did in California, what you have done in the last several years here in the Department of Labor, and maybe more importantly, what your vision is. What do you want to do? What are the problems that you see out there, and what do you want to accomplish as our Secretary of Labor?
Well, thank you so much, Chairman Sanders. Thank you also for the meeting that we had. I know that we talked about how we need a Secretary of Labor who is going to deliver in this moment, and I really enjoyed our conversation. And thank you for that question. You've already laid out so clearly what a historic economic recovery this has been. The president says it himself all the time, right? This is what it looks like to build an economy from the bottom up and the middle out. And I've been a part of the administration for the last 2 years. I've been very proud to see what good, thoughtful policy and implementation look like. Because of that work, in partnership with Congress, our economy continues to defy expectations. 12.6 million jobs represents a mom getting back to work after the disruption of COVID. It represents a veteran coming back from military service and getting a seamless transition into civilian life. One woman I met is now laying pipes 30 feet underground and doing a job that she never imagined for herself. And when she comes home at the end of the day, her hands are dirty, but she says her children are really proud of her. I think that 12.6 million jobs is 12.6 million stories like that.
Let me ask you this. You touched on it in your remarks, and it's something this committee, I hope, will be able to deal with in a bipartisan way. You mentioned that there are, in so many words, there are millions of young people who do not necessarily want to go to college, who are prepared to get their hands dirty, go out, earn good wages, doing some of the important work that needs to be done to rebuild America. Talk a little bit about your vision of strong apprenticeship programs for our country.
So there's so much we can do there. Thank you so much, Chairman Sanders. And we've been doing it over the last 2 years at the Department of Labor. We have dramatically expanded apprenticeships across the country. We have, just in the last 2 years, over 4,600 new apprenticeship programs representing 11,000 or so employers. These are opportunities to make sure not only that job seekers, and in particular young people, get the high quality skills training that they need, but that employers who are looking for skilled workers to do the many things that we are doing right now, right? Rebuilding roads and bridges and ensuring broad internet accessibility to communities all across the country, making sure that every family that turns on the faucet gets clean drinking water out of it, building coast-to-coast electric vehicle charging stations. All of this work needs workers. And employers have been saying that, what are we going to do to make sure that we have the workers that we need? And apprenticeship programs are a big part of that answer. Our overall workforce development system is a big part of that answer. And my team has heard me say this at the Department of Labor many, many times. We can build physical roads and bridges. We also have to build the roads and bridges that connect people to the jobs they need. So that's what the system
What I'm hearing from you as Secretary of Labor, you're prepared to work with this committee to greatly expand apprenticeship programs in this country. Child labor is an issue, as Senator Padilla mentioned a moment ago, of great concern. You have some experience in that issue. Tell us what you would like to accomplish to make sure that kids in this country are not exploited by unscrupulous employers.
Thank you very much for that question, too, Chairman Sanders. As we have seen, there's been increased attention to the truly horrific examples of child labor that we've seen of late. To be clear, we're not talking about a young person who's getting their first summer job at the local retail store working the cash register, where they're learning how to show up on time and work with customers. In the most recent case that the Department of Labor found, it was over 100 children as young as 13 working in meat packing facilities on the night shift doing cleaning work. I think we can all agree that that is exploitative child labor that we do not want to see, and the Department of Labor is not only continuing to enforce the law, we're also leading an interagency task force across the federal government to make sure that we are exchanging information as needed and bringing all of our resources to bear, and that's another thing I would look forward to working with this committee and Congress on if asked.
Okay, thank you very much. Senator Cassidy.
Thank you, Ms.